She stood small in that massive courtroom, her voice trembling as she spoke, yet her words carried a weight far beyond her years. "My mom is a Navy SEAL," the young girl said with all the courage she could gather. For a moment the room fell silent. Then the judge, an older man with a smirk that felt colder than the marble walls, chuckled dismissively. His laugh echoed through the room, mocking the child's truth. The girl lowered her eyes, gripping the hem of her dress, wishing her mother were there to prove her words. And just when the judge thought he had silenced her with ridicule, the heavy doors creaked open, changing everything. The girl's name was Emily, barely 12 but already wise from the life most children couldn't imagine. Her mother had always told her, "Never be ashamed of the truth, no matter who doubts you," but standing before a judge who looked down on her, she felt that truth slipping away. The case wasn't about her mother's service, but about custody, about whether Emily would remain with her or be placed elsewhere. To Emily, defending her mother wasn't just about honor, it was about survival. She wanted the judge to know who her mother truly was. And yet, when laughter filled the air, her courage nearly broke. Still, deep inside, she clung to the hope that her mother would arrive in time. The judge leaned forward, his glasses sliding down his nose. "A Navy SEAL?" he repeated, his voice dripping with disbelief. "Young lady, women aren't Navy SEALs." "That's quite a story you're making up." The courtroom chuckled along with him, strangers whispering, attorneys exchanging knowing glances. Each laugh cut through Emily like a blade. She wanted to scream that her mother had risked her life, that her mother had carried scars both seen and unseen, but no words seemed strong enough against the wall of doubt surrounding her. Instead, she swallowed the lump in her throat and whispered, "She be here." The judge smirked again, shaking his head, certain the child was lost in fantasy. But Emily wasn't lying, and the truth was about to walk straight into his world. The doors of the courtroom opened slowly, the creak silencing the chatter. Every head turned as boots clicked against the floor. There she was, tall, commanding, her uniform sharp, her medals gleaming faintly under the dull courtroom lights. She didn't just walk in. She carried an aura that shifted the air itself. Emily's mother, Lieutenant Commander Sarah Hayes, had returned from her unit that very morning, having come straight from a classified mission. The room seemed to freeze, as if everyone suddenly remembered to breathe all at once. And for the first time that day, the judge's face lost all traces of mockery. Sarah's eyes scanned the room and found Emily, who rushed to her with tears streaming down her face. The embrace between mother and daughter was fierce and unbreakable, as though the world could fall apart around them and it still wouldn't matter. The judge cleared his throat, suddenly aware of the gravity of his mistake. He had laughed at a soldier who had faced storms he could never imagine. He had mocked a child's truth that was more real than anything in that room. And now, standing before him, was not just a mother, but a warrior who had carried her country on her shoulders. The lawyer opposing Emily's case tried to speak, but his words faltered in the air. Sarah took the stand, her voice steady, her presence commanding yet filled with warmth when she spoke of her daughter. She told the court of nights spent writing letters from undisclosed locations, of carrying Emily's picture folded in her pocket armor, of fighting not just for her country but for the little girl waiting at home. The judge listened, his face pale, the weight of shame pressing down on him with each word she spoke. Every detail painted the truth. Emily had tried so hard to defend truth no one could deny. Now Emily sat on the edge of her seat, her eyes never leaving her mother's. To her, this wasn't just about winning a case. It was about showing the world who her mom really was. When Sarah finished, silence filled the room once again. The judge shifted uncomfortably before finally speaking. His voice, once sharp and mocking, now carried humility. "I owe both of you an apology," he said slowly. "This court has never seen such strength and devotion. Emily, your mother is extraordinary, and I will make sure this court recognizes that." His words didn't erase the laughter from before, but they softened the wound just enough. In that moment, the outcome was clear. Emily would stay with her mother, where she belonged. But more than that, the courtroom witnessed something unforgettable, that courage wears many faces, and sometimes the smallest voice can carry the greatest truth. As Sarah and Emily walked out hand in hand, the same people who had laughed before now watched in awe, their silence carrying respect that words could never express. Outside, Emily looked up at her mother with eyes shining like the morning sun breaking after a storm. "I told them, Mom," she whispered. Sarah smiled, brushing a tear from her daughter's cheek. "And I'll always be here to prove you right." They walked away, not just as mother and daughter, but as two souls bound by truth, love, and a strength no courtroom could ever shake. And though the judge's laughter had once filled the air, it was the memory of those boots echoing through the courtroom that would never be forgotten.